Hiya.
Morning. So we're back. Focus on Art is back again. We've got some good interviews coming up over the next few weeks as well, which we were just discussing, weren't we?
Yeah. We have. And we got you today.
Yeah, got me today. along with a lovely author called Lisa Stanson, who's coming up at 12. But yes, as we did last week, obviously introducing ourselves a little bit more to you. Last week was Mary's turn.
It was.
And this week apparently it's my turn.
It is. It's Tracey's turn today.
So, what do you want to know?
Well, first of all, tell me about yourself, Tracey, because clearly we need to know about what.
Well, there's actually two things really, because part of Focus on Art is not just art, it's creativity. And that can encompass all genres. So, of course, dancing is one of those genres. So I would say I have both art and dancing are in my background. And they pretty much started about the same time when I was very, very little, actually. I can remember being taken to ballet classes when I was about 3.5. And art, I think I actually painted and drew before I could actually write.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, I just remember always being creative, to be honest. And what I could do with an egg box was nobody's business.
Was it? That's a Blue Peter symbol for you, isn't it?
It was.
Sticky back plastic and an egg carton.
And give me an egg carton and I could be gone for hours. But it was, unfortunately in those days it was polystyrene. But of course they're not polystyrene
You make
anymore.
great Christmas decorations out of it.
You could actually, and I made quite a few Christmas decorations. Glitter, glue
Yeah,
sticks,
that's
you give me
it.
that. Yeah. Anyway, so I sort of started off with that and painting and everything. And I've got a few examples. I'm not going to bore you to death, but
It's not appearing here.
it will appear. That's all right, Leah's big, because I've got somebody watching you. So you need to have a look.
Hello, Jan.
Listen,
So Jan,
where
hello
is-
Jan.
where
It's
is
in the
it?
Focus on Art UK group.
Focus on Art.
So I've got a few samples here of things I used to do. So basically, when I was a kid, I was quite entrepreneurial, I guess, in a way. So I used to pick up pebbles off the beach and I used to paint them and varnish them. So this is probably one I did, I don't know if you can see that, when I was about 9, 10.
Oh.
Okay, I think it's a puddle duck, I can't remember now. But I used to use all media. I pretty much did all media, everything apart from oils. I dabbled in oils once or twice and it took so long to dry, I just gave up basically. But I used to do watercolours, ink, line and wash, acrylics. And yeah, just used to go for it really. When I was about 9, 10, I wrote to the BBC because I was very focused as a child. What you do.
More focused than I was.
Focus is a good word. And I said
focus.
to them, I was really fascinated in the theatre and in production. And I said to them, I wanted to do something like that. And what did I need? What qualifications did I need? And they wrote back to me, somebody wrote back to me a very nice letter and said, well, you need to do a foundation course and then you need to do a degree course.
Yeah.
And so basically I did. I went away to school and I did all my qualifications, enough to get me into my foundation course. And then I went to a degree course. And then I have to say that's where it all went a bit pear-shaped.
As you do when you go to uni.
Yeah, because
What did you study, sorry? What did you study?
Well, this is the point. I studied graphic design.
Yeah.
But the course I went to was Exeter College of Art and Design, which doesn't exist anymore, unfortunately. But it was a great place to go to. It had fine art and graphic design ran together, side by side. But I did the graphic design because I wanted to do theatre design or TV production design. But, you know how you get channeled?
Yeah.
And somehow you got channeled into, well, if you're at a graphic design course, you have to do typography, which is the study of lettering,
Yeah.
illustration,
Yeah.
and I didn't want to just be a pure illustrator, or photography, and I didn't want to just be a pure photographer. So after doing all three things, I had to specialise, and the only option I had was to study typography. And then you're 2 years going down the route of graphic design, you see. And then when you come out, you think, well, I'm now 20, what was I, 22?
Yeah.
So now what am I going to do? I've got to start earning money, you know. So I wrote to the BBC again as soon as I left.
Oh, focus.
And unfortunately, they never had any openings. And I couldn't hang around waiting for them to give me an opening or anywhere else. So I had to start earning money. So in my first year when I left art college, I think I had 4 jobs, all design related, one of which I got fired from.
Oh.
much to my parents' dismay.
You want to tell us why you got fired?
Oh, I was really stupid actually. It's just naivety. When you leave college, you don't understand the real world, you know. And they told me as a junior, to go into the camera room and to do all this light box work. Well, I'd never used this damn camera before, and unfortunately, I forgot that when you're in a dark room, you should leave. You should put the paper box back on when you put the light on. And it was a brand new box of paper with about 100 sheets, and I destroyed the lot.
Oh no, they weren't very happy.
They weren't very happy, but anyway, I survived that. But I did leave them. But so yeah, I mean, it took me a while to find my niche because it was quite difficult. Yeah. But then when I found somewhere, I sort of settled down, and then I was a bit more settled, and I stayed in the graphic design industry for about 20 years.
Yeah, it's a long time to be in that industry, and it's long hours.
It is a long time, and it is long hours, and it is very stressful.
It is very stressful.
So my art sort of went into a commercial aspect. Yeah. And this is a good example of it, actually. I don't know if you can see this, but when they found out I could illustrate, they thought, oh, 2 for 1.
Get more for our money.
Yeah, we don't need to employ that illustrator. We can just use our in-house designer now. So if you can see that, I better hide the name. That's a little illustration that was part of a logo design that I actually did many years ago. Okay.
I'll have a quick look at it because I can't see without my glasses.
So that would have been done in ink, and then obviously, don't ask me why they wanted an hour because it was, but they did. So anyway.
Wise.
Mine was not to question. I just did it. So,
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so that was my commercial work. Although I continued doing artistic work, it was from a commercial aspect. And obviously, when Macs became more and more popular, that side of things disappeared because then everything you did by hand, you had to start doing on the computer using software.
And that's another ball game because it's another training.
Exactly, yeah. So, yeah, it's something you had to do, otherwise you didn't have a job.
No.
So
I didn't even know how to turn it on. Sorry, I'm not taken away, but I was like, how do you turn it on?
Yeah.
The lady's laughing at me.
Oh, that's
it's
nice.
a button at the back or something, wasn't it, in those days? I don't know. I was like sitting there going... Everyone else knew what they were doing. I was like, I can't even turn the damn thing on, let alone know how to use it. But it is like that when you're used to, like you say, you did all the old school like typography, the line, drawing like that.
And I spent years learning how to use marker pens and visuals. You know?
I mean, yeah.
And that was a skill that disappeared practically as soon as I qualified.
And actually, that skill is really quite a useful skill.
Yeah. I mean, people listening to this won't understand what we're talking about probably, but basically when you were a designer in those days, you had to visualize everything, didn't you, for the client, and that meant you had to, you had just pure visualizers. Yeah. I mean, I was a designer stroke visualizer at the beginning, but you had to, some agencies just had visualizers, so God knows what they did when it came in. But you had all these marker pens, Pantone marker pens, and you had to visualize the entire look concept for the client just using marker pens. Yeah. And that skill, which was very hard to learn,
it's very hard.
It just disappeared.
Yeah, it does.
Practically within a year of computers coming out, there were no more marker pens, no more visualizing that way, because you did it on the computer and then you just pressed a button and it printed out.
Yeah, I get it.
So anyway, so my artwork sort of went underground a little bit because I had to be creative but using a computer, and because graphic design is quite a stressful job with deadlines, I didn't feel that creative from a paint point of view.
Yeah, I get it.
And it was very long hours.
Absolutely
as well.
Get it. So there's a lot of it looking at a screen, isn't it? And you just you're like that.
Yeah, exactly.
And you sort of blurred vision.
Yeah.
It's kind of quite draining, really.
Yeah, and it ruins your eyesight.
Yeah, it does. So when you obviously you did your graphic design. So what point? So let's talk about now with your art. When you've started to get back into your art.
Well, last year. Basically, really weird because of all the stress from the job and everything, and then obviously I became a dance teacher, so different genre. We'll talk about that a little bit in a minute. I didn't do any painting for about 30 years. It literally must be about 26, 30 years, I think.
Yeah.
And then last year when my father died and I was clearing out the flat and everything, he always used to say to me, you should go back to painting. He was always on me, you should go back to painting, you know, because you were really good at it. And I always used to say, Dad, I haven't got time and I haven't got any inspiration, I'm too stressed, blah, blah, blah. And I never got round to it. Anyway, he passed away last year, and then about 3 weeks after that happened, I suddenly felt the urge to pick up a paintbrush, and I have no idea why.
And it looks like you haven't stopped.
I haven't stopped, no. And the very first thing I did, I just grabbed a load of paint from the works, you know, the cheapy place, because I thought this ain't going to last, you know. I know what I'm like, and I'm just going to stop again. And I got some paint from the works and acrylic, and I just thought, well, what am I going to paint? And I just painted. And of course, I'm quite inspired by where we live, the sea and everything. And so I just painted this. And this was my first painting after 26 years. That's it, okay? It's on board, and that's it. And it's just the sea and colours. And I just played around with it. But this is quite small. You can see it's quite small. So that didn't last very long because I got bored with that. And I started getting bigger and then bigger. So I think from that one, I think I went on to bigger board. I think I went on to a double-sized board. I think that was one of the next ones.
Yeah.
These sorts of ones. But you can see they're quite sort of abstract-y still. Yeah.
But also, you're almost like experimenting as well, it looks like a little bit.
Yeah, constantly experimenting. So I did a few like that.
Yeah.
And then I went to Hengistbury Head one day, and by this stage I'm going on to canvas, so I'm getting to more things like that.
And that's a lot more detailed as well.
Yeah, so at this stage I'm looking much more realistic, so I've gone through the abstract bits a little bit, and I'm trying to really focus on what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
Still acrylic, but I wasn't really happy with that either, because it was still too small.
It's got to be big.
So at this point, I'm getting double size again.
Soon you won't be able to see anything because you see this great big canvas right in your face.
So
and you can see more texture in this one.
Yeah, you can.
So the others were quite flat in a way, but this one seems to be coming a bit more jumping out at you on the canvas.
I tell you why. Somebody gave me a palette knife.
Ah.
And this was my first ever experiment with a palette knife, which I loved actually.
Yeah.
Practically the whole thing is with a palette knife. It's just a wash at the background.
Yeah.
And then all this is just using the paint.
Yeah.
And I really love the way you can splat it on and move it around.
It's something very, I've said it last week, but it's therapeutic, like getting it out. It's almost like you're trying to get something out of you.
Yeah.
It's like you're letting go of something and you're like, right, I've got to keep going. It's about Red Shoes. I always think of the ballet Red Shoes.
Yeah, I love that film. Actually.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it wasn't a good ending, but what I mean is but I don't mean it like that. You know what I mean, though? That whole thing of like keep going and pursuing it and pursuing it and pursuing it.
And then I started going to that. So you can see I'm getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
But again, at the moment I'm in a crossroads because this is very detailed and this is quite realistic. But since then I've gone away from that style and I've started doing more, I've got a bit smaller again actually, but I've started doing more abstract again. So things like this one, for example.
But that's okay. You know why you probably go a bit smaller? Yeah. It's because you're experimenting with a different medium. Sometimes, I don't know if you're like me, but sometimes I start quite small just to get the feel of what you want to do.
Yeah.
And then you start going, right, I can do bigger and I can go bigger and bigger.
Yeah, I mean, I went double that size actually.
Why you don't put closer to the camera because
well, look, this one is really
not too close.
This one is really I don't know if you can see it's quite difficult to. It's got a lot of paint on it basically.
Yeah.
It's really difficult holding it straight on it.
I know, I told you, because last week I was going over like this and I was going it the other way. But I realised if I'd looked in the camera better, I could have done it properly.
But you see, I did actually go through a phase. I mean, I don't. Leo was saying, oh, everything you do is really sort of like desolate, but the sea really calls me in the sky because I look at the patterns that the water make and I just want to try and capture the pattern. When I look at the sea, it's constantly changing, you know?
Do you think, there's a question, so it sounds like you're incorporating quite a graphic style to your work, even though it's not graphic.
Yeah.
Because when you've got that design element, you kind of break, I don't know how you feel, but you break it down into shapes, pattern, tone, and things like that. And that's like, kind of resembles that graphic side.
I know what you mean, yeah. This is where I'm constantly torn because early influences for me were people like Toulouse-Lautrec, for example. Okay, so for me, he's the first graphic designer.
Brilliant.
He's a fantastic artist.
Absolutely.
And I was so inspired by him when I was young. And it's in the art I'm trying to do now, I'm really torn between. It's like I say, it's the constant changing of pattern and light in the sky and the water. But it's how I capture that. And sometimes I look at the sea and I just want to go, and with the paint, you know, because I feel all that energy and I want to put the energy on the canvas. And other times I look at it and I actually want to paint the detail.
Yeah.
So it's finer, you know. And I'm really torn between which way I paint at the moment. I don't know whether to go more down the abstract or to go more down the realistic route. I don't know.
It's really, I think you'll get to, you'll know. I think it's almost like you're getting everything out.
Yeah, maybe.
Does that make sense? There's a lot of creative energy over 30 years of not doing creativity. Yeah. It's almost like, I'm not analysing this, but I might be. But, you know, that's my counselling training. It's almost like it's all coming up to the surface and you're just like going, whoo, it's all coming out, and it's all coming out in all different ways. But then you will find that style will join together and will develop. You will develop that style. My daisy's falling out my hair. So that's how I feel. I feel like all this energy has not been doing something. It's all coming out at once. So you're kind of going like this, you're going like that, you're doing this. But it will eventually.
You think it'll calm down?
It will calm down.
I don't know.
It will. But it's great to have that. But it's almost like it's letting everything out. It's letting everything out. Like the colours are coming out, like the blues.
I love using the massive amount of paint and everything. I mean, I work like this. For example, this one. This is very, very detailed. And I can do people too. It's not just sea. But this was a piece I did obviously at Leo.
Yeah.
And what I wanted to capture in this was the pure happiness of him. When he was lying in the sun, it was a really bright day, it was a beautiful day, and all the colours. And this one I felt more like I wanted to bring out the detail of all the flowers and the grass that he was lying on and the heathers and everything. But like I said, at the moment I'm quite confused. I don't know which way to go.
I don't know. I don't know. I understand your confusion, but I think it is for you, it's your time to find where you are.
Maybe, I guess. And the other thing is, of course, I started painting dancers because obviously dancing is a big part of my life. It's how I earn my living with Leo. We are, Argentine Tango dancers. We run our school here.
How long have you been doing tango dancing?
I keep asking myself this question, It's difficult because the years go by. I reckon it must be close to 20 years now.
Wow, that's a long time.
If not 20 years. Because I know he must have been, I think I started in my early 30s, early to mid 30s. Okay. But again, dancing was always a big part of my life anyway, and now it's obviously still a massive part.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward. I've just started to start painting figures in dancing now, which I would really like to do a little bit more of.
That could incorporate some of this with the realism. You could probably end up incorporating both.
Well, this is what I'm thinking because I did some rough sketches recently. I don't know if we've been printing some of our designs onto materials and making them up into scarves and things as well. And we did some early stuff, and that was quite interesting work. So I'm hoping to do more of that type of thing too.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's there's so much you can do.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm just at the tip of the iceberg, really. I'm really starting to explore.
Yeah.
But I could say something. I haven't stopped since painting last year, since starting painting. And I have no idea what drove me to paint. I swear it was my dad, God bless him.
I think it is.
But I haven't stopped.
No.
I literally haven't stopped. I've got canvases piling up everywhere. I'm actually going over.
Well, that's what I was
now
saying.
too.
It's that energy in you is been unleashed, and I think sometimes we don't want to obviously bring up your dad all the but through loss or something like that. I think something as significant and as prominent and from your heart, it's almost unlocking your heart.
Yeah, I know.
I know that I'm not trying to be too deep with it, but sometimes that, I know when my mother passed away, for instance, I did the same. I kind of went, I had to get it out.
Yeah.
Something had to come out. And I'm wondering, like, with the colours that you're choosing and everything like that, it's kind of reflecting that as well.
Well, Leo said the observation of him was that it was all very desolate, wasn't it? It was all very isolated. That was his initial. Although he liked the paintings, he said it was all very. What was the word he used?
Well, I say desolation.
Desolation.
I know what you mean.
But I didn't actually feel it was desolation, I have to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm saying in some way solitude.
Solitude,
Yes.
that was the word he used, wasn't
I
it?
can
Solitude, yeah.
understand that, from looking at it, because it is something that you're trying to get out.
Yeah, I wasn't aware
But
that
you're
was
not-
what I was trying to express though. I was just
right.
trying to. Why did I start painting the sea? I have no idea. Again, I mean, I've got this. This is the only landscape that I actually remember doing. This is
Because you never used to do.
I never used to do
Never
landscape.
used to do landscapes.
This is a watercolor that I did many years ago when I was in my 20s. I think it's in France somewhere. I can't remember now. But that's practically the only landscape I remember really doing. I wasn't interested in landscapes at all.
Yeah.
But since I started painting,
And the boat.
yeah, I used to do boats. I used to be obsessed with animals. Well, animals, look. Very
You
detailed.
can't really sort of.
You have to show that one because it's.
I need to get closer, probably. There you go. This is ink. So I did that for a Christmas card, I think.
Yeah.
I used to be obsessed with animals, especially horses or
Yeah.
birds. And my dad always liked the sea, obviously, and because of that, I did him a few paintings with sailing ships, which he had on the wall for like forever. Yeah.
That's interesting. You just made a great valid point there.
Did I?
Yeah. Your dad liked the sea,
Ah, yeah.
so hence you're channeling your dad through those.
Yeah, maybe I am. I don't know. It's
That's
just...
an interesting point. You didn't even realise you said that, had you?
No.
I just picked it up.
Mary the Analyst.
It's a Maryism. But yeah, so there's your up.
Put your glasses.
Yeah, you need your glasses on now. You need to look at the
What?
No, the psychological.
Oh, my
part.
Oh yeah, see what I mean? See what I did there? Yeah, my counselling came in there. But
yeah,
it was really interesting when you were talking about it, and then you suddenly said, "My dad loved the sea,"
Yeah, he did. And he was in the Navy and
and
everything.
then I went, and then the Navy.
Yeah,
It's all linking,
I guess it is. Yeah.
so that you've kind of channeling it all out,
Yeah.
getting it all out. Ah, I love it when I do that.
I think it's also because I love patterns.
Absolutely.
And when you look at water,
There's lots of different
it
shades.
never stops. It's just the light on the water. It's
Yeah.
incredible. I mean, I was watching a program the other day. And one of the artists is it Manny? I can never remember, Manny or Monet, the one that did the water lilies. Monet, thank you. And I mean, they're incredible, his series of paintings. But there's this place in Paris I'd love to go to, which is basically, he did, like, I think it was 80 metres, and it's in an oval all the way around the room. And it's, oops, the window's shut. And it's his water lilies, and you're encapsulated by them.
Wow, I haven't
I've
seen
got
that.
to
Like, I
go,
have seen the
because
water
they're
lily.
clean
I have
in
put
my
Oh
them.
yeah, I've only seen the water lilies as in the paintings, but I didn't realise he did this huge, massive mural.
Yeah,
But I have to find out where it is.
I mean, his work is incredible because it's so large, isn't it?
Yeah.
But when you go up close, you can't distinguish what it is in a way, but it's unless you walk back.
I love all that type of painting. I was really inspired by the Impressionists, I think. And as I said, Toulouse-Lautrec and all the Impressionists are just incredible what they did. Because that was in the age just of photography coming in, and they just I tried to capture energy in my paintings.
Yeah.
And, you know, Van Gogh, for example, or Turner, They're phenomenal what they did.
Oh, absolutely.
The colour usage is incredible.
And and I suppose in a way you're kind of trying to capture that as that sort of impressionism
In my own little way.
In your way.
Yeah, I spend a lot of time just looking at things, at the water and the light and everything, and trying to think, what is it I'm actually seeing? Because I realised the other day when I was watching the water on the sea, typically you think when the highlights are catching the sparkle, you think of horizontal lines. You think most people draw as horizontal and sparkle. But I was watching it and it's not. It's that and that simultaneously. It's crosses.
Okay.
And that was something I tried in my painting, and that really helped me capture some of the sparkle I was after. Because I was thinking, why is it not working? It's just not. I'm just not getting it. Because you've only got white to play with.
Yeah.
But it's not just white.
Yeah.
You know, if a lot of my paintings, if you come close to them, they're not. They might just look like blue, but they're not blue at all.
You've got like no, it's got all different kind of tones of different colours in it.
Yeah.
And actually, I suppose that's the light.
Yeah,
and the light bounces off the sea.
It is.
It is.
It's incredible. If you look at when a wave comes in and you try to express the colours, you've got everything through from brown through to greens, blues, yellows. It's everything there.
Exactly.
It's just your eye only captures it for a tiny fraction.
Yeah.
So trying to put that information down, this is why I appreciate the Impressionists so much, because when you look at their paintings, the colours and the way they put the colours next to each other, which enhances them.
I mean, I'm really a fan of Turner's work. Really.
Turner, yeah, incredible.
Just the way it captures that. Like, it comes out, doesn't it? It's like the weather. You know, what's it called? Not the weather. What's it? Landscape, and then there's this orange, and then it just bursts out. It almost comes alive. It's like fire coming out of a scene.
I know.
You know what I mean?
It's phenomenal.
It's amazing, isn't it?
And it's incredible to think they were actually laughed at, you know, when they began.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm trying to capture something of that. I don't know, I think we're going to be drawing. I thought, oh my God, what are they doing?
We've got somebody washing the windows.
They're washing the windows. I wonder what the noise is.
So, that was interesting because you, with your father, I know we're going back to your father again, but interesting how you captured that, and you're really now, you really are turning yourself around and becoming the artist that you should be.
Yeah, it would be, well, maybe if I'd continued, you know, Dad was right after all, maybe I should have continued, but, you know, it's hard earning a living as an artist, and this is why I didn't go into illustration, because I knew it would be a very hard life, and graphic design, well, okay, I didn't want to be a graphic designer, I wanted to be a theatre designer or whatever, but that didn't happen. But I had a good career as a designer. I don't regret it. No. I did some amazing work with amazing
Everything's
people.
a learning curve, isn't it? It doesn't matter which way or direction you go.
Yeah.
You know, everything's a learning process. And we all get to where we need to get to and when we need to get there.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, at school, I know, you know, we're always told you've got to know what you want, you've got to do this, you've got to do that. And actually, when you live your life, doesn't even go the way you think it's going to go. So, and that's what I'm saying with the creativity and what you're doing. Well, you're almost going through another phase of your chapter of your life.
I feel like I've lived several chapters, yeah. I mean, because when I was a kid, I always used to be told by my parents, oh, you'll be a good teacher. So, of course, being a kid, that's the last thing I'm going to be, you know. But what's happened? My life's turned full circle. And the last 15 years, I've earned my living as a dance teacher.
Yeah, I know.
It's crazy, isn't it? So now here I am teaching Argentine Tango, which I absolutely love.
And how did you start? Let's talk about a bit of the dancing, like your history of dancing. I know you said you did it when you were really young.
I did ballet when I was very young, for about 12 years, something like that. And they wanted me to go on and become a professional dancer and audition for the Royal Academy, and I refused. Quite stupid, but never mind. And because I was so determined to do a career in art, this is why. So I got my way. My mother wanted me to do ballroom and Latin dancing when I stopped ballet, and I refused to do that too. Yeah. Quite headstrong, was it? And then I started ballroom and Latin dancing when I was in my early 30s. And actually I started dancing again as a way to not be stressed, because I was so stressed from my graphic work, I needed a release. Yeah. And it was a way I could stop thinking about work, basically. And I loved the dancing. I mean, I've always been a dancer. I loved it. And did competitions and stuff. And then, but at the same time as doing ballroom and Latin, I started getting interested in Argentine tango.
Yeah.
And that for me was the ultimate art form because, my glasses, I've almost got my glasses
I know, I
on.
put them on enough lately.
Argentine tango for me was beautiful because I saw a show that Tango Bordos, which was incredible. It just blew my mind away. I actually went up to the show thinking, because I was so bored, I thought, oh, I've got to go and do something. And I thought, I'll go see a show in London. And the only thing that was on that particular weekend was a tango show.
Oh.
And I thought, how can you have a whole show on tango? And I'd never heard of Argentine tango either.
Yeah.
And I went along and I was completely blown away by it. It was, it wasn't so much the music, but it was the dancing. It was a beautiful art form. But at that time, it was really, really difficult trying to find anywhere to learn. So it was a hard process. Anyway, to cut a long story short, I did manage to learn. Ended up teaching probably before I should have done, only because everybody was pestering us to teach. And then when I was running a milonga, Reading Canoe Club milonga with my then dance partner, Tom Nixon. Yeah. And Leo came with a friend of his to our milonga. And we realised that we knew very little. And we needed to know more.
Because there's a significant difference between ballroom tango.
Huge difference, yeah.
Argentine tango.
Yeah, massive difference. And also there's a big difference between choreographic Argentine tango and improvised tango too, or social tango. Both are very valid art forms, both are very beautiful, both have very different skill sets. Unfortunately, more emphasis gets placed on the choreographic tango simply because you get shows of it and obviously with Strictly. But the social Argentine tango is also very beautiful and, you know, needs to be promoted more. Yeah. Because it's what everybody dances, you know, in the dance halls around the world. And it's a wonderful way of connecting with another human being. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Going back to the show stuff, do you find like movies have influenced how tango should look as well? You know, you see some movies, like then they do a tango scene and they make it look like you're about to jump into bed with someone, you know, that kind of thing. I don't mean it, you know what I mean though? Yeah. They kind of make it all like...
It always amazes me actually that they don't spend that much time on teaching the actors or actresses how to dance. It doesn't matter what dance style it is. Because sometimes, and also when they put the music in afterwards, they don't even bother to get them to dub the music correctly so they're stepping on the right beat. So if you're a dancer, it looks like, really?
Oh, right. And to every Joe Blow, it's like, oh, wow, I wish I could dance like that. Yeah. But actually, it's not that great.
No, but I mean, it's nice to see dancing in the movies. I mean, obviously, the ultimate dance movie is Fred Astaire. Fred Astaire, Ginger Rogers, I know all those Hollywood shows. Greats. I mean, I know Leo's a huge fan of Fred Astaire.
He was amazing.
Oh God, yeah, he was.
I don't know how he kept going.
But when you
his little legs.
When you look at all those dancers of that genre, though, they were all fantastic dancers. I mean, incredible. And I don't even know the names of half of them, but all these fantastic MGM Hollywood musicals, the dance routines in them are incredible.
Yeah. And the colours, I love the way they do use the colours and that.
Absolutely. Yeah, they actually had there was a thing on Ginger Rogers, one of her dresses the other day. Apparently it was the most expensive dress. I don't know if this is true, but it said it was the most expensive dress of the time. $35,000 apparently. Wow. Which is a lot of money for those days.
It's a lot of money for those days.
Yeah. I don't know how true that is though, so don't quote me on that one.
Let's do a Google on that. Google search.
Anyway, I feel very lucky because I get to combine both my art and dancing together here. And obviously now we're doing this type of thing as well. We can bring in people from all genres.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we want. We want people from dance, communities, to music, actresses, whatever.
Singers, everybody.
Everybody.
And we have got
photographers.
Actually we've got a great photographer coming up on Sunday.
Actually,
Quick plug.
Yeah.
Haven't published it yet, but he's coming up. So.
Yeah, he's coming up. I can't wait to talk to him.
Yeah.
Because we usually do on Tuesdays only, but we're going to be doing a
occasionally we can do, because we appreciate some artists, because it is hard earning a living through art. Some artists have to also have another job.
Exactly.
So they can't make a Tuesday morning. So occasionally we're going to be able to do a Sunday. Yeah. So
hit us up if you want anything. Yeah. If you want to come in and get interviewed or, you know, support it.
I think that's enough for me anyway. So I think we'll bring up.
Oh, I thought it was really good. Really interesting.
But I hope you find it interesting.
Yeah, it was.
A little bit more about my background, what I'm doing.
And just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm going
to. Get it out there.
Well, we're going to be doing some. Well, we're going to be having a stand and selling our own work, aren't we?
Yeah,
And we've got an art course coming up as well, which would be interesting for beginners. And
For beginners, yeah, learning your basics.
I can teach you how to do the sing. No, I can
Might
do
have a
more
few
than
dancing
that.
tips in between there as well.
Yeah. Yeah, beginners
The
classes every
sky's the
night.
limit with this club, with our workshops.
Well, we're making the most. This is a fabulous building. We've got downstairs and upstairs.
Yeah.
It's a fabulous salon upstairs, 20 metres long. So,
Yeah.
make the most
And
of
if
it
you
while we've
fancy
got
doing
it.
some Argentine Tango, come to the studio.
And we will be interviewing Leo at some point. The next free space we have, he'll be on here. And he can tell you his story, man. Now that's a story.
Well, brilliant. That was really great. Thanks, Tracy.
You're
That was
welcome.
great.
Anyway, we've
we'll
got
be
our next
taking
one.
a break.
Yeah, take a break, get a cup of tea, and our next interviewee is coming up at 12.
Yay.
Okay? So we'll see you soon.
Take care.
Bye.